And not only have we been successful and enjoyed that success, we have shared that success with others. We have had our men and women be willing to go out there and put their lives on the line, literally shedding their blood so that other nations could enjoy the same freedom that we've enjoyed. So anytime somebody runs down America and talks about our mistakes and the things that we've done wrong, let's make sure we're reminding them of the things we've also done well. American exceptionalism is something we should teach, it's something we should embrace, it's something that we should recognize. Our president should not be traveling around the world on an apology tour. I'm still trying to figure out what in the world he's apologizing for. Is he apologizing because we saved the world? Not once or twice. Friends, we did it 3 times from the evils of Nazism, communism, despotism. Are we apologizing because we were willing to have our young men and women give their lives for other people's freedom? This guy stood in Prague and he said to the world, he said, the American people have a moral responsibility to act on arms control because we're the only ones to use the bomb. Never mind reminding the world, we're also the only ones in the history of the planet to hold a technological advantage in war and not use it for conquest. Instead, we took that weapon in 1945. We're the only ones that had it. We could have controlled the whole planet. We could have told everyone, submit to us, do exactly what we want. You're our slaves now. But what did we do? We took that weapon. You talk to anybody that fought back then, you talk to any military expert that studied history, they knew that if we did not end the war prior to having to invade Japan, we would lose millions of our own lives and millions of other lives from around the world engaged in that battle. We learned that at Iwo Jima. We knew what they were willing to do. But we took that weapon, we used it to end that war, saving millions of lives. Then we took our own money and we went out there and we rebuilt the nations that had attacked us. There is something special about you. There's something special about being an American. We are different. There's something about our value system that causes us to act differently, that causes us to respond differently to the events of the world. And so what we do at Wall Builders is we go back into history and say, not what does some book or some professor say the Founding Fathers did to make this thing happen. What did they say? What did they actually say? What did they actually do? And we go back to that original history, that original intent, as my colleague David Barton titled his book. We go back to that and say, okay, what's the formula? Because if a nation's successful, there's a reason for that. If it's prosperous, there's a reason for that. There's a cause for the effect. It didn't happen by accident. There's something that set that in place. And so we say, what's the formula that produces that kind of result? And how do we preserve it? How do we protect it? What are the elements of it? Some people today want to change the formula. They want to change, radically transform what America's all about. And take us from being a liberty-loving nation to a socialist country very much like the European countries. And so they want to change the formula. Well, I promise you, you change the formula, you will get a different result. And it will not be what we've been able to enjoy. It will not be the freedom we've had, the prosperity we've had, the power we've had. And so we want to know what the formula is, and then we want to teach our friends and colleagues and family and the next generation certainly what that formula is and challenge you to preserve and protect it. So that's what Wall Builders does. In fact, the name Wall Builders comes out of the Old Testament. In the book of Nehemiah there in the Old Testament, there's a scripture that says, arise and rebuild the walls that we may no longer be a reproach. And if you look at Old Testament history, if you look at nations back then, if you didn't have those outer walls, you would run over as a nation. And so what they were about was rebuilding those walls to protect their nation. For us, the strength of our nation depends on the foundation. It depends on the principles upon which we're built. And so that's what we do at Wall Builders. We've got I say we, David Barton has the largest private collection in the world of the early documents of the Founding Fathers. You can actually sit in his library and hold the handwritten letters of presidents and signers of the Declaration and the Constitution. You can look at their Bibles and read their notes in the margin. You can read their journals and their correspondence back and forth. Really cool stuff. But what's cool about it is it's their words. You can actually go to the original writing and find out what they really believe. So, trivia question for you. Speaking of those original guys that gave us those founding documents, who was president of Congress, that Continental Congress, when they signed the Declaration of Independence? Don't worry, we won't grade you after this. Yeah. Nope. How long do I have? What am I supposed to do? 10 minutes? 15 minutes? You just kick me out when it's time to go. Okay. I actually am going to run home because I've been on the campaign trail all over the state. Who?
I say Adams.
No, it wasn't Adams.
Not Madison.
However, Adams was more responsible for the Declaration than anybody. The HBO thing is not a good portrayal of Adams, but the first 2 episodes are really, really cool. Who'd you say?
Madison.
Not Madison?
Franklin.
Okay, John was right. I'll give you that hint.
Hamilton.
Who? No?
Jay.
No? We got John Jay, we got John Adams. Hancock, who said that? All right, man, you get your choice of a DVD or a book. What do you want?